into any health food store in America right now, and you will find a wall of brown glass bottles with Latin names on the labels and prices that start at $12 and climb past $40. Behind that wall is one of the fastest growing industries in the American economy, generating over $50 billion a year. Now drive 45 minutes into the mountains of North Carolina, Kentucky, or West Virginia and look at what is growing on the hillsides, in the creek hollows, and along the fence lines. The plants in those bottles are growing there. They have been growing there for thousands of years. The Appalachian families who lived among them did not buy them in capsules. They walked outside and picked them, dried them, brewed them, and poulticed them with knowledge passed from mother to daughter across 200 years of continuous use. Number 7 on this list is the best-selling herbal supplement in the United States, retailing for $22 to $28 per bottle. It grows wild on every hillside in the Appalachian range and has been gathered freely by mountain families for centuries. Number 14 is sold for up to $40 per ounce. The plant it comes from is now endangered because commercial collectors stripped the wild populations that Appalachian families once sustained through careful, generational stewardship. Number 3 is sold as a prescription-strength topical at several $100s per treatment. The compound is identical to what Appalachian healers applied directly from a plant growing in disturbed soil from Georgia to Pennsylvania at no cost to anyone. The FDA's primary function in the supplement industry is not to protect your access to free plant medicine. It is to regulate who can make claims about it, which means regulating who can profit from it. The knowledge that sets you free from the supplement aisle is exactly the knowledge the supplement aisle was built on burying. Before we start, hit subscribe. What you are about to learn is not a shopping list. It is a map of everything you already own and do not know you own. Let us count down. Number 25. Catnip for infant colic, fever, and anxiety. Every pharmacy sells infant colic drops at $8 to $20 per small bottle. The low-growing mint family plant with fuzzy gray-green leaves grows in disturbed soil and roadsides across the entire eastern United States and is considered a weed by most people who encounter it. Granny women brewed weak catnip tea for colicky infants, stronger tea for fevers, and gave it to adults for anxiety and sleeplessness. The active compounds nipedalactone and thymol have confirmed sedative and antispasmodic properties. The plant grows free in every neglected garden in America. The branded infant colic product costs $18 and may contain alcohol. Number 24. Feverfew for migraine prevention. Pharmaceutical migraine prevention drugs cost between $100 and several $100s per month. Standardized Feverfew capsules sell for $12 to $20. The plant itself, a small daisy-like perennial growing in gardens and roadsides throughout Appalachia, grows free from a $2 seed packet and returns every year. Clinical trials published in The Lancet in 1988 found that daily Feverfew consumption significantly reduced the frequency and severity of migraine attacks. The active compound parthenolide inhibits the inflammatory compounds that trigger migraine episodes. The plant costs nothing after the first seed packet. The capsule that contains it costs $15 a month indefinitely. Number 23. Pine needle and pine resin for respiratory support and vitamin C premium pine needle tea products sell online for $8 to $25 for small quantities. Every pine tree in the Appalachian Mountains and every pine tree in every yard and park in the eastern United States produces the same compound for free. Appalachian families brewed pine needle tea through winter for respiratory support and to prevent vitamin C deficiency when fresh vegetables ran out. Pine needles contain vitamin C at roughly 5 times the concentration in oranges by weight, along with terpene compounds with confirmed antimicrobial properties. Every pine tree you have ever walked past was carrying a pharmacy in its needles with no price attached. Number 22. Bone Set for influenza and deep fever. Bone Set is difficult to find in most American health stores. When it appears, it retails for $15 to $25 per small quantity. The tall, white-flowered herb grows in wet meadows and along stream banks throughout the Appalachian Range. Granny women brewed it into the bitterest tea in their entire practice and gave it to influenza patients specifically to force a productive sweat and break the fever. Bonacet contains sesquiterpene lactones and immunostimulant polysaccharides that genuinely stimulate immune response, confirmed by German pharmaceutical researchers in the 1990s. It grows wild along every creek bank in Appalachia and has never needed a bottle. Number 21. Spicebush for pain, fever, and digestion. Spicebush products sold online run $8 to $20 per small quantity. The aromatic shrub grows in the creek bottoms and moist forest understory of Appalachia, identifiable by its fragrant bark and small red berries. Cherokee healers used every part of it and passed the knowledge directly to Appalachian settlers in one of the most sustained transfers of indigenous botanical knowledge in American history. The bark tea treats fever and body aches. Spicebush contains benzaldehyde and eugenol with confirmed anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. The shrub grows free throughout the Appalachian range and produces berries every autumn at no charge. Here is the business model you have been living inside without being told the terms. The Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994 was written largely by supplement industry lobbyists. It allowed companies to sell plant-based products without proving efficacy, while simultaneously preventing those companies from stating what the plant does, and simultaneously preventing any unpackaged plant from making any therapeutic claim at all. You can legally buy elderberry in a capsule at $22 from a manufacturer not required to prove it works, but you cannot legally be told that the elderberry bush in your backyard produces the same result, because unpackaged plants cannot make health claims under federal law. The law did not protect you from quackery. It protected the supplement industry from the free plant growing outside your door. Number 20. Wild garlic and ramps for antimicrobial and nutritional support. Ramps sell for $8 to $15 per small bunch at specialty markets and cities. In the mountain communities where they grow, Appalachian families gathered them every spring as the most important nutritional event of the year, eating them in quantities large enough to correct the vitamin C deficiency and mineral depletion of winter isolation. The allicin compounds in wild alliums have broad-spectrum antimicrobial properties confirmed across multiple laboratory studies. Ramps grow in rich, moist forest soil throughout the Appalachian range. Spring harvest requires knowing where to look and having a bag in your hand. Number 19. Sassafras for spring tonic and anti-inflammatory support. The FDA banned safrole, a compound in sassafras, as a food additive in 1960, restricting commercial sale of the root bark. When it is available, it sells for $15 to $25 per pound. Sassafras trees grow free across the eastern United States, are among the first trees to colonize disturbed Appalachian soil, and are identifiable by their mitten-shaped leaves and spicy aromatic bark. Appalachian families drank sassafras root bark tea every spring as a tonic. Research has confirmed anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and diuretic properties. The same compound the FDA targeted is present in black pepper and nutmeg at comparable concentrations. The tree grows free in every thicket in the eastern United States. Number 18. Wild ginger for nausea, digestion, and cramping. Commercial ginger supplements sell for $10 to $20 per bottle. Wild ginger grows throughout the rich forest understory of the Appalachian Mountains. Used for nausea, stomach cramping, and menstrual pain by Appalachian healers and the indigenous peoples before them, the aromatic compounds in wild ginger stimulate digestive secretions and reduce intestinal spasms through confirmed mechanisms. Granny women dug the root in early spring and dried it for year-round use. The forest floor is stocked with medicine that the supplement aisle is selling at a markup of several thousand% above its actual cost of acquisition. Number 17. Yellowroot for mouth, throat, and gut infections. Yellowroot retails from herbal suppliers at $15 to $30 per small quantity. The plant grows wild in the creek hollows and moist ravines of the Appalachian Mountains, identifiable by its intensely bitter, bright yellow inner bark. Appalachian families used it for sore throats, mouth sores, gum infections, and stomach upset. Yellowroot is rich in berberine, documented in hundreds of peer-reviewed studies with confirmed antimicrobial activity against methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. The plant grows free in suitable habitat throughout the Appalachian Range. It was bitter enough that children remembered its taste their entire lives, which means it was effective enough to be given despite that. Number 16. Mugwort for menstrual support and sleep. Mugwort products retail from $10 to $25 per small quantity. The plant grows as a common weed in disturbed areas and roadsides throughout the eastern United States. In Appalachian folk medicine and the European traditions that informed it, mugwort was a primary tool for menstrual irregularity, cramping, and associated sleeplessness. The plant contains thujone, camphor, and flavonoids that have demonstrated smooth muscle effects in laboratory studies, including effects on uterine smooth muscle. Mugwort was among the plants most consistently suppressed by religious and later medical authorities. It has been growing in roadside ditches throughout this entire period without anyone's permission. Here is the number the supplement industry does not advertise. The markup between the cost of harvesting a wild plant and the cost of purchasing that plant in a standardized capsule runs, on average, between 1,000 and 5,000%. The standardization has value for someone with no access to the plant knowledge. But the price you pay includes eliminating from your own understanding the fact that the plant grows outside the capsule, that people gathered it for free for centuries, and that the knowledge of how to gather and prepare it was systematically removed from American households in the same generation the supplement industry was created to fill the gap. The industry did not create the medicine. It created the need to buy the medicine. Number 15. Plantain leaf for wounds, inflammation, and drawing infections. Drawing salves for splinters, boils, and insect stings retail for $12 to $40 per small tin. Broadleaf plantain grows in every lawn, every sidewalk crack, and every disturbed soil site in America. Crush it between your fingers and apply it to the wound. A 2010 review confirmed antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and wound-healing activity consistent with its traditional use. The active compound aucubin has confirmed anti-inflammatory properties in multiple laboratory studies. The drawing salve that costs $32 at the pharmacy contains petroleum jelly as its primary ingredient. The plant that does the same thing is in your yard. Number 14. Golden seal root for infection and immune support. Golden seal retails for $25 to $50 for small quantities of root powder or standardized extract. It is also among the most endangered wild plants in the eastern United States, with wild populations stripped aggressively by commercial collectors. The active compound berberine has been confirmed across more than 500 peer-reviewed studies to demonstrate antimicrobial activity against a broad spectrum of bacteria, including antibiotic-resistant strains. The plant became endangered not because the forest disappeared, but because the supplement industry created demand without creating any mechanism to sustain the wild population. The granny women who gathered it never stripped a stand. They knew the stand needed to survive the winter, too. Number 13. Comfrey for tissue repair and musculoskeletal pain. Comfrey root salves for muscle and joint pain sell for $12 to $30 per tube. Comfrey grows easily in any garden, spreads vigorously, and produces large quantities of leaf material throughout the growing season. The active compound allantoin stimulates cell division and tissue repair. Studies in the journal Phytomedicine confirm significant reduction in pain and swelling in ankle sprains treated with Comfrey preparations compared to placebo. German sports medicine clinics use standardized Comfrey as first-line treatment for musculoskeletal injuries. A single Comfrey plant costs $3 at a nursery and produces enough leaf for years of topical use. Number 12. Bee balm for respiratory infection and antimicrobial support. Bee balm teas and tinctures retail from $10 to $25 per unit. The bright red flowering plant that Appalachian families call Oswego tea grows native throughout the eastern United States and is widely planted in gardens for its ornamental value. Most people who grow it have no idea they are growing a confirmed antimicrobial herb. The leaves contain thymol and carvacrol, the active antimicrobial compounds in thyme and oregano. Thymol is the active ingredient in Listerine mouthwash. The plant is available at garden centers for $3 to $8 per plant and returns every year. Number 11. Yarrow for bleeding, fever, and wound care. Yarrow tinctures and teas retail from $8 to $20. The feathery leaf plant with flat-topped white flower clusters grows in meadows and roadsides throughout the entire eastern United States. The active compounds, including achillin, flavonoids, and tannins, promote platelet aggregation, constrict blood vessels, and reduce inflammatory responses in wounds. The plant's Latin name, Achillea millefolium, comes from the legend that Achilles used it on battlefield wounds, meaning knowledge of this plant's hemostatic properties is old enough to have generated Greek mythology. It grows in your yard as a weed. It has always been there. Here is what disappears when plant knowledge disappears. A woman who knows that yarrow in her field will stop her family's bleeding has a relationship with that field fundamentally different from a woman who knows that a product on a shelf will stop bleeding if she can get to the store and afford it. The first woman has sovereignty. The second has dependency. The supplement industry did not create a more effective version of what the granny women knew. It created a more profitable version. The effectiveness was already there, growing in the field. What the industry manufactured was not the medicine. It was the need to buy the medicine. Number 10. Elderberry for immune support and influenza. Elderberry is the best-selling herbal supplement in the United States, retailing in syrup form for $22 to $28 per bottle. The elderberry bush grows wild throughout the eastern United States, produces abundant berries every August and September, and has been used by Appalachian families for exactly the purposes it is currently being sold for. A 2019 meta-analysis confirmed consistent benefit for cold and flu duration across multiple studies. Your great-grandmother made elderberry syrup from berries that cost nothing, honey that cost very little, and an afternoon of stirring. The number 1 herbal supplement in the American market is her recipe in a branded bottle. Number 9. Slippery elm for throat, stomach, and digestive complaints. Slippery elm lozenges, powders, and capsules retail from $11 to $25. The slippery elm tree grows throughout the eastern United States, and the inner bark peels away in spring in long, fibrous sheets that dry easily and store indefinitely. The mucilaginous compound coats and soothes inflamed mucous membranes more effectively than most pharmaceutical alternatives. Slippery elm bark appeared in the United States Pharmacopoeia from 1820 until 1960, when it was removed and reclassified as a dietary supplement. The reclassification stripped it of medical status without changing anything about what it does to a sore throat. Number 8. Mullein for lung and respiratory support. Mullein leaf teas and capsules for lung support retail from $8 to $25. Mullein, the tall plant with thick woolly gray-green leaves, grows on every roadside and disturbed soil site in the eastern United States. A 2002 study confirmed significant antimicrobial activity against the bacteria most commonly responsible for respiratory infections. The plant grows in every ditch in America. The lung support tea that contains it sells for $16 at the health food store. The roadside ditch charges nothing. Number 7. Valerian root for sleep and anxiety. Valerian root sleep supplements retail from $10 to $25 per bottle. Valerian grows in moist areas and stream banks throughout the eastern United States and has been used as a sleep aid for at least 2,000 years. Multiple clinical trials have confirmed that valerian preparations reduce sleep onset time, improve sleep quality, and reduce anxiety without producing dependence or next-day impairment. The active mechanism involves the same neurological receptor system targeted by benzodiazepine pharmaceuticals without the dependency profile that has generated congressional hearings and public health crises. A valerian plant in a damp corner of your garden produces harvestable root within 2 years. The supplement aisle charges $20 a month for the same compound. Number 6. St. John's wort for depression and mood. St. John's wort retails in standardized capsule form for $8 to $15 per bottle. It grows as a common wildflower in meadows and roadsides throughout the eastern United States, identifiable by its bright yellow 5-petaled flowers. A meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal reviewing 23 clinical trials found it significantly more effective than placebo for mild to moderate depression. A 2002 study found it produced equivalent outcomes to sertraline with a dramatically better side effect profile. The antidepressant market generates $15 billion annually in the United States. The plant grows in every sunny meadow for free. Number 5. Wild cherry bark for cough and respiratory support. The active compounds in many commercial cough syrups are synthetic derivatives of prunazine, the compound found naturally in wild black cherry bark. Wild black cherry trees are among the most common forest trees in the Appalachian range. The inner bark simmered with honey into a dark syrup was the cough remedy of virtually every Appalachian family for 200 years. Your great-grandmother made a year's supply from a single tree on her own land. The pharmaceutical industry synthesized the compound she was already using and sells it back at a price that assumes you forgot where it came from. Number 4. Black cohosh for menopausal symptoms and women's health. Black cohosh supplements retail from $15 to $30 per bottle. The plant grows native in the rich, shaded forest coves of the Appalachian Mountains. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists acknowledged clinical evidence supporting its use for menopausal symptoms in 1998. Germany's Commission E approved it for menopausal complaints in 1989. Appalachian granny women use black cohosh root tinctures for menstrual cramping, difficult labor, and the hot flashes and sleep disruption of menopause. The plant grows in the understory of any mature eastern hardwood forest. The supplement costs $20 a month. The forest does not send a bill. Number 3. Echinacea for immune support and respiratory infection. Echinacea is one of the 5 best-selling herbal supplements in the United States, retailing from $8 to $25 per package. The purple coniflower grows native across the eastern woodlands of North America and is widely planted in gardens. A 2015 Cochrane review of 24 randomized clinical trials found consistent evidence of benefit for cold prevention and treatment. A packet of echinacea seeds costs $2 and produces plants that return every year and provide harvestable root and aerial parts in sufficient quantity to supply a household through the entire cold season. The supplement aisle sells the same compound at a markup that assumes you will not go outside and grow it yourself. Number 2. Ginseng for energy, stress, and cognitive support. Wild American ginseng root sells for $300 to $800 per pound. Processed into standardized supplements, it retails for $30 to $100 per small bottle. American ginseng grows native in the rich forest coves of the Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian families gathered it carefully, never stripping a stand, always leaving enough to regenerate, practicing the kind of long-term stewardship no commercial collector operating on quarterly revenue targets has ever matched. The plant is now endangered in the wild. The knowledge of how to cultivate it went with the families who left the mountains. What remained was the expensive capsule and a depleted forest. And number 1, the knowledge of what grows outside your door. Every herb on this list is growing somewhere accessible to you right now. Plantain is in your lawn. Mullein is in the disturbed ground at the edge of your property. Catnip grows in half the untended gardens in America. Yarrow is in every meadow. Elderberry grows in every hedgerow from Georgia to Maine. St. John's wort is flowering in every sunny field. Wild cherry trees are in every eastern forest. What your region cannot supply, your garden can grow from a $2 seed packet. The supplement industry has accomplished something remarkable. It is sold back to you, at prices ranging from $10 to $100 per month, the knowledge your great-grandmother carried in her head and gathered with her hands from the land she lived on. The plants are still there. The land is still there. What the industry took was not the plants. What the industry took was the relationship between you and the plants. The confidence that you can walk outside and find medicine growing there. The knowledge of which plant, which part, which season, which preparation. That knowledge is what costs $30 a bottle when someone else packages it. When you carry it yourself, it costs nothing. It never did. Here is my challenge. Pick one plant from this list that grows near where you live. Identify it with certainty using a plant identification app or a field guide. Learn the one preparation Appalachian families used it for and try it once. Then come back and tell me in the comments which plant you found and whether you had any idea it was growing there all along. Because I promise you, somebody in your family tree walked past that plant every day and knew exactly what it was. That knowledge does not belong to the supplement industry. It never did. It grew for free in the field, and it is growing there right now.